Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another beginning of a new series. Now, I don't do, you see, so, thing is that I'm not running out of ideas. It's just, I want to bring new things to the channel, here and there, and so I'm bringing back a new game, I'm bringing a new game, and also, I'm going to bring you guys a sort of thing that I'm going to start doing. And if you guys want to see more, remember to like and subscribe. But first, let me just tell you what it is. I'm going to be reading this book called Pax. Now, you may have seen this if the video hasn't uploaded yet. And the first video of Night of the Woods. This is a book that I recently just got at Costco. And I'll be reading it right now. It's roughly about, how many pages? Roughly about 276 pages. So if you guys want to see more of this, just tell me in the comments and let's get on with this. Sara Pennypacker, Pax. Illustrated by Jon Klassen. Oh, by the way, yeah. Great book. I'm excited to read this. Sara Pennypacker and Jon Klassen. This isn't. I hope this isn't copyright, but like, I love you guys and thank you for making this book. Though I don't know you that well, thank you for making this book. The frickin' front looks incredible. I read the thing and everything. So, anyways, let's get straight to this. Okay. Get your popcorn, your candy, your hot chocolate. Cause no, I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but I'm gonna read like some of it. Probably the first chapter. To my agent, Stephen Nelk, who said Pax, SP. Okay, I'm just... Get ready, this is gonna be so weird. This is the first page. There you go, I'm pretty sure that's Pax right there. I don't want to get this book ruined, it's so beautiful. Hey, just because it... I'll just do it like that. Just because it isn't happening here doesn't mean it isn't happening. Get ready for the first chapter, because I think that's what I'm going to be doing, like, I think, like, this should definitely just become a playlist, where, like, every episode I do, like, I read a chapter. So, yeah, this is chapter 1. Let's get into this. The fox felt the car slow before the boy did, as he felt everything first. Through the pads of his paws, along his spine, and the sensitive whiskers at his wrists. By the vibrations, he learned also that the road had grown coarser. He stretched up from his body, from his boy's lap, and sniffed at threads of scent leaking in through the window, which told him that they were now traveling into woodlands. The sharp odors of pine, wood, bark, cones, and needles slivered through the air like blades. But beneath that, the fox recognized softer clover and wild garlic and ferns, and also 100 things he had never encountered before. That's the first page. That smelled green and urgent. The boy sensed something now, too. He pulled his pet back to him and gripped his baseball glove more tightly. The boy's anxiety surprised the fox. The few times they had traveled in the car before, the boy had been calm or even excited. The fox nudged his muzzle into the glove's webbing. Although he hated the leather smell, his boy always laughed when he did this. He would close the glove around the pet's hand, play wrestling, and in this way, the fox would distract him. But today the boy lifted his pet and buried his face in the fox's white ruff, pressing hard. It was then that the fox realized his boy was crying. He twisted around to study his face to be sure. Yes, crying. Although without a sound, something the fox had never known him to do, the boy hadn't shed tears for a very long time. But the fox remembered, always before he had cried out, as if to demand that attention be paid to the curious occurrence of salty water streaming from his eyes. The fox licked at the tears, and then grew more confused. There was no scent of blood. He squirmed out of the boy's arms to inspect his human more carefully, alarmed that he could have never failed to notice an injury, although his sense of smell was never wrong. No blood, not even the under-skin pooling of a bruise or the marrow leak of a cracked bone, which had happened once. The car pulled to the right, and the suitcase beside them shifted. By its scent, the fox knew it held the boy's clothing and the things from his room he handled most often. The photo he kept on top of his burrow and the items he hid in the bottom drawer. He pawed at a corner, hopping to pry the suitcase open enough for the boy's weak nose to smell these favored things and be comforted. But just then, the car slowed again, this time to a rumbling crawl. The boy slumped forward, and his head in his hands. A fox's heartbeat climbed, and the brushy hairs of his tail lifted. The charred metal scent of the father's new clothing was burning in his throat. He leaped to the window and scratched at it. Sometimes at home, his boy would raise a similar glass wall if he did this. He always felt better when the glass wall was lifted. Instead, the boy pulled him down onto his lap again and spoke to his father in a begging tone. The fox had learned the meaning of many human words, and he heard him use one of them now. No. Often the no word was linked to one of the two names he knew, his own and his boy's. He listened carefully, but today it was just the no, pleaded to the father over and over. The car juddered to a full stop and tilted off to the right, a cloud of dust rising beyond the window. The father reached over the seat again, and after saying something to his son in a soft voice that didn't match his hard lie scent, he grasped the fox by the scruff of the neck. His boy did not resist, so the fox did not resist. He hung limp and vulnerable in the man's grasp. Although he was now frightened enough to nip, he would not displease his humans today. And the father opened the car door and strode over gravel and patchy weeds to the edge of a wood. The boy got out and followed. The father set the fox down, and the fox bounded out of his reach. He locked the gaze on his two humans, surprised to notice that they were nearly the same height now. The boy had grown very tall recently. The father pointed to the woods. The boy looked at his father for a long moment, his eyes streaming again. And then he dried his face with the neck of his t-shirt and nodded. He reached into his jeans pocket and withdrew an old plastic soldier, the fox's favorite toy. The fox came to alert, ready for the familiar game. His boy would throw the toy, and then he would track it down, a feat the boy always seemed to find remarkable. He would retrieve the toy and wait with it in his mouth until the boy found him and took it back to toss again. And sure enough, the boy held the toy soldier aloft and then hurled it into the woods. The fox's relief, they were only here to play a game, made him careless. He shrieked toward the woods without looking back at his humans. If he had, he would have seen the boy wrench away from his father and crossed his arms over his face, and he would have returned. Whatever this boy needed, protection, distraction, affection, he would have offered. Instead, he set off after the toy, finding it was slightly more difficult than usual, as there were so many other, fresher odors in the woods. But only slightly after the scent of his boys was also on the toy. That scent he couldn't find anywhere. The toy soldier lay face down at the burrowed root of a butternut tree, as if he had pitched himself there in despair. His rifle, his butt pressed tirelessly against his face, was buried to the hilt in leaf litter. The fox nudged the toy free, took it between his teeth, and rose on his haunches to allow the boy to find him. Oops. Didn't even notice that happened. Right. In the woods, the only movements were bars of sunlight, glinting like green glass through the leafy canopy. He stretched higher. There was no sign of his boy. A prickle of worry shivered up the fox's spine. He dropped the toy and barked. There was no response. He barked again, and again, was answered by only silence. If this is a new game, he did not like it. He picked up the toy soldier and began to retrace his tail. As he lopped out of the woods, a jay shrieked in above him, shrieking. The fox rose, torn. His boy was waiting to play the game, but birds. Hours upon hours he had watched the birds from his pen, quivering at the sight of them slicing the sky as recklessly as the lightning he often saw on summer evenings. The freedom of their flights always mesmerized him. The jay called again, deeper in the forest now, but answered by a chorus of reply. For one moment the fox hesitated, peering into the trees for another sight of the electric blue wedge. And then behind him, he heard a car door slam shut, and then another. He bounded at his full speed, heedless of the bars that tore at his cheeks. The car's engine roared to life, and the fox skidded to a stop at the edge of the road. His boy rolled down and reached his arms out, and as the car sped away, and pelting spray of gravel, the father cried out the boy's name, Peter! And the boy cried out the only other name the fox knew, Pax. And that is the end of the first chapter. Anyways, oh my god! This is gonna be a good book. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the first chapter of Pax, this beautiful book, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode, which will be tomorrow, yes. See ya. Bye. Hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to like, subscribe, and tell me if you guys liked this. If you did, that would be greatly appreciated. Bye.